Hey guys, I am going to make a stuffed butternut squash dish and I'm going to show you how to make it. So I am going to go ahead and stuff these butternut squashes with some ground beef and spinach mixture, and this is all you need. So a little bit of salt, pepper, onion powder, about probably one of these, like a pound of ground beef. I'm going to use spinach, and then I have this onion jam, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. You don't need to have that. You can utilize just regular onions if you want for this. And then I'm going to have some shredded cheese at the end. So one of my tips for butternut squash, because I think they're very hard to cut when they are like just very raw. So I'm going to go ahead and poke some holes in this with a knife, and then I'm gonna microwave it for about 8 minutes just to soften it up, and then I'll roast it. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and start my oven. I'm gonna put it at 400 degrees. So very important if you're gonna put this in the microwave is that you do have to poke holes in to ventilate, because it will kind of explode if you don't. So it's just like a potato. You'd never want to put a potato into the microwave without cutting some holes in it. And then it just helps evenly distribute the cooking process. So I just do a couple little holes on each. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the microwave for 8 minutes, and then it'll be easier to cut. While my butternut squash is getting ready, I'm gonna go ahead and make the stuffing part of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and sear a pound of ground beef and then some onions. So usually when I do ground beef for like things like this, I wanna get a little bit of a sear, so I'm not gonna break it up yet. I just put it on and let it get a little bit of a char, flip it, and then char it, and then break it up into pieces. And I want these onions to be kind of soft and gooey, so that's why I put them in first. So we're gonna let this cook out. I'll let you know. I forgot to mention that I'm gonna go ahead and season this with onion powder, salt, pepper, and some garlic salt. So see how there's like a brown crust in that? So I'm gonna flip that and cook the other side for like a couple minutes yet, and then I'll break it up. Okay, so now that this is caramelized out, I'm gonna go ahead and just break it all up. Now that this is all broken up, I'm gonna go ahead and add maybe like 2 cups of filler. This usually wilts down, so we're gonna go ahead and cook this out. You do wanna like fold this in, and after it sits up the top for a little bit, and then it's gonna wilt down. This is where I'm gonna go ahead and add this jam that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add just a little bit, just to kind of flavor the meat. If you wanted to, we're trying to kind of cut back a little bit on our carbs, but this would be okay to mix with like cooked rice if you wanted to, or like a little like small little pasta. I'm just going to keep it a meat and vegetable tray today. Okay, so this is all cooked out, and we're just going to set it aside until our squash is roasted. Okay, so now I'm going to take my my microwaved butternut squash. You don't have to microwave it. You can cut this the exact same way that I'm doing now. I just find it really hard. It seems to be difficult to cut through, so this just makes it easier. So now I'm just going to use the same slits. Gonna go down this side. It is a little warm, so be careful. You gotta let it cool after the microwave for a little bit. But then now I have 2 halves. Then I'm gonna take a spoon, and I'm just gonna go around and scoop out the middle of both of them. And I still like to roast them even though they're somewhat cooked. We're gonna, because I like the flavor of a roasted butternut squash. So I'm gonna get the seeds out of there and put these on the baking. Okay, so now I have all my halves. So what I'm gonna do is just drizzle this with olive oil. I'm gonna do all 4 of them. And then I like to have butternut squash a little bit sweet, so I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle the insides with some salt, some onion powder, and then I am going to sprinkle with a little bit of brown sugar. Some people do honey. I find that the brown sugar kind of caramelizes the butternut squash. If you were avoiding sugar, obviously you don't need it. It's still pretty good without it, but I kind of like this little bit of flavor it adds. And just to the top part. So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to flip these over and drizzle the skins with just a little bit of olive oil and then kind of massage them in. And then I'm going to go ahead and bake this at 400 for 15 minutes. Okay, so our butternut squash was roasted and it's thin enough to touch. So I'm going to go ahead and I like to just cut little squares first, just to make it easier. And then you're gonna take your meat mixture and I'm just gonna scoop out and make like a bowl with the squash. And I'm gonna do this to all 3 and then mix it into my mixture. So I mix the inside of the into my meat mixture, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put them back into the squash. What I will tell you is that if by chance it's not soft enough, if the squash isn't soft enough to easily take out with a spoon, then put it back in the oven for another like 5 minutes or 10 if you need it more. But you could easily put it back in. Make sure it's soft. So I filled each of mine. I did put them in a baking dish. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grate a little bit of cheddar cheese. You could use cheddar, mozzarella, any kind of cheese really. Even Parm I think would taste good on this. I only have cheddar today, so that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna top it, and we're gonna put this back in the oven at 400 degrees for another like 10 minutes just to kind of marry the flavors. And then that's it. So the bake's out of the oven and it's ready to go. You could put a little bit of sour cream on top of that or just eat it as is, but little on the healthier side and super delicious, so I hope you enjoy.